created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
And of course, we are pretty sure that you recognized one of the most well known arias by Maestro Puccini among Mimi's, Rodolfo's. Of course, we have Musetta's Quando me nuvo. This is, from my perspective, this is one of the funniest pieces to be sung, but we are going to be talking about it with Katia, that has shared with us a little piece of the melody that Musetta, very short participation, but it is true that all people pay attention to this number in the second act of La Boheme. And to kick off things, Katia, why don't you tell us what are your first thoughts on the role of Musetta, because she's not the primary role. I mean, she's not Mimi. She's, to be fair, she's secondary, same way as Marcello is. But even though she's secondary in the plot, in the libretto, she carries most of the way of the second act. Because in the second act, yes, Rodolfo and Mimi, they arrive together. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, haha, the Bohemians. But all the attention is on Musetta, just as if sopranos wouldn't like to catch the attention. What do you think about the role of Musetta?
Well, it is interesting to see a singer performing a singer. And I think that's the key of the relevance of Musetta within this beautiful opera, even when she's not the main character, as you just said. Um, she's she's a very brilliant and spicy character. So if you have heard, or yeah, if you have heard the entire opera, of course you're expecting this part. It's funny, it's brilliant, and it takes off your sight a little bit from the drama that is involving this argument.
And this is, as you mentioned, this is a spicy role. She's such a character. And as it usually happens with these roles, it also requires not only that you put that you are able to convey that message in the voice, but also that you are good at acting. Because if you're a serious soprano who just stands in front of everybody, very rigid, looking at the infinite and beyond, not even smiling, nobody is going to believe that's Musetta. I mean, what can you share us? What are your thoughts when you are going to present it? When you know that it will be part of your recital, what do you convey? What do you like to convey from the perspective of the body language?
I think that Musetta knows she's a rock star, and you have to set in that mood.
Yeah, she
To
knows. Of course, she knows.
She knows she's singing about being a rock star. Indeed.
Yeah. There's
So
anything but modesty. We are going to talk about the words she sings, but anything but modesty.
yes. So for example, when I sing this song on stage, I used to flirt with the public. Of course, I'm just performing. Of course, I'm just acting. But yes, I have to flirt. She has very interesting phrases within the song. But she's saying everybody looks at me and I love it. That's the main theme of the song. So you can just stand in the middle of the stage holding your hands and looking at nowhere. The eye contact is very important in this song. There are some pieces, there are some songs that if you are meditating or, for example, thinking about caro nome, if you're saying and you're dreaming of someone or dreaming of something, you can look at nowhere. But in this case, you're singing about something, but you're not just telling a story. You are interacting with people around you on stage if you are performing the entire opera, or with your public if you are working this as a concert or as a recital. So you need to make eye contact and, I don't know, probably put your hand on your, oh, help me please, on your waist.
Waist? Yeah.
Yeah, probably move your shoulders, take care of your back. You need to have a very good position. You need to look flirty.
And it is also interesting to notice that Musetta is very opposite to what Mimi is. Mimi is also a young girl, but Mimi, well, we perceive her as a very discreet lady, very humble, who does not want to be in front of the stage in a certain way. But Musetta is all the opposite. It's, hey guys, I'm here. I need everybody to look at me. Hey, what are you doing? You look at me.
Stop what you're doing and look at me.
And even well, the opera will tell us about it further. But even though she's flirting, we will soon learn that even if she claims that she could have any man she wants, she's still in love for Marcello, because she is doing everything, in fact, to call the attention of Marcello, because she wants Marcello to be jealous.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that is the best source as a lady to get somebody's attention. But well, this opera is not set in 21st century. So many things were different in 20th century. So yes, it's she's thinking that she can have the attention that from any man that she wants, except Marcello. But she's also trying to caught his eye um, through this manipulation.
Yeah. And she's enjoying when she sees that Marcello is trying to like isolate himself. Like, I'm not going, like Marcello saying, no, I am not going to look at her because I know that if I look at her, I will go back to her arms, and I don't want that. So Marcello sort of resists, and Musetta sort of insists. So it's kind of a beautiful game that happens on stage. There are many reasons why I now we're keeping our focus on this act of La Boheme. There are many reasons why I like Musette. I mean, she's standing on the stage, and you know when she pretends that she's hurt her foot, and makes. Of course, I cannot yell like her. Certainly, you can say, "Ah, qual dolore, qual bruciore." Which of course it's an exaggeration, it's an overstatement, but all the pressure of that act is on Musetta. I mean, if she does not make it believable, nobody, because it's to call the attention, it's to make people laugh, because everybody knows that she's exaggerating, but the way she does it, it's very funny. Not only the way she yells, but also the way she says the qual dolore, qual bruciore, al pie. Like, oh my god, what I'm going to come up with? Ah, my foot. She said it was my foot.
Yes, I think that she remains her foot, probably expecting that Marcello carries her.
Of course, of course. I mean, Marcello should be proud of knowing that he's the center of attention of Musetta, the,
Of course.
the woman that everybody wants, and the one she wants is the one that is resisting. So, stories of love are always complicated, and this is the also the opposite because remember that Rodolfo and Mimi in the first act have fallen in love very, very quickly, and now they are together and feel like they are living in a dream. And on the opposite hand, Musetta trying to call the attention, Marcello resisting, she inventing something with her food, the other, still pretending he doesn't care. And that's
Well, she arrives with somebody else.
yeah. At the end, if this is the first time you watch the opera for the first time, you know that the man that comes or that arrives with Musetta is the one who is going to be paying the bills of everybody. So basically, Musetta is using that guy for her purposes, and same way, the first act is for Mimi and Rodolfo. Truth is that the second act is for Musetta and Marcello, but moreover Musetta. So brief, but the message that she passes is very clear. I think that you really need a good singer and a good actress so that people can appreciate the role. But now, why don't you share us? Did you pick this role, or did any of your teachers back in the past told you need to prepare the role, or how comes up that you decided to make it part of your repertoire?
Well, being honest, it was almost an accident because I had to prepare an audition, and I was like, well, I need something that is beautiful, but not as complicated as Lakme. I mean, this song is not easy for many reasons, but it's not like me. It doesn't have the pyrotechnics and all this stuff, and it allows me to perform it more as an actress too, that not just as a singer. So it was not only thought of, for my voice or for something technical. It was for an audition. It had good results, thanks God, and I have to make a study of the character to to believe myself I was a rock star as Musetta and perform it well.
And what do you feel about Musetta? Is it a role that you want to keep with you performing, or is it going to be only maybe once or twice? Because and I think we have not shared it in other seasons, and maybe it is a good time now. One feels closer, the singers feel usually closer to one role or another, maybe because in a given period of time your voice matches better, or maybe because your psyche, your life situation has evolved and you identify more with one role than with another. Sometimes there is a role that you loved in your early or late 20s, but now that you're in your 30s, you say, I don't feel that close to role A or B. How do you feel you and your voice in regards to Musetta?
Well, in the first place, I just can't believe you mentioned my age.
I never mentioned your age. I mentioned two examples. Everybody knows here that our age is a secret of state, top secret. Nobody's allowed to know yet.
Never will be revealed.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that I am more Musetta now than when I was in my 20s. Oh my God. I said it because now I feel that I can embrace her uh, with much more security, with much more self-love. I mean, I don't feel myself like a rock star all the time, but I'm very happy with myself right now. So I feel that now today I can stand on the stage and feel not just feel comfortable, not just with the vocal sense, but with the attitude. I feel very confident with myself. So I think that in uh, in act- in this day today, I wouldn't have to make an effort to to feel myself like, okay, I have to move, I have to cover everybody's eye. I just would make it more naturally.
Yeah, it's interesting because we mentioned it in the episode. Let me remember. It was when we talked about the nerves. Yeah, well, we talked about it in the episode of the nerves when we talked about the nerves, and when we talked about the vocal care of the instrument, because you mentioned it. When you're in front of the public, you are fully exposed. So if you are going to be flirting and your body is going to show that, and psychologically you don't feel comfortable in doing that, you will refrain from doing it. So maybe vocally it is doing good, it is believable, but what people see is not what you are conveying with your voice. And so there is a mismatch. Also, it happens not only in this case that you want to be flirtatious, you need to be flirtatious. There are cases when another a given role, now that the episode for Dalila was just recorded, Dalila is a very sensual role. And I recall the name of I recall a Mexican mezzo soprano. She was young back then, and of course I cannot give her name, but I recall her when she was. It has been very recently that she started performing on stage, and she sang it. And even though the instrument, the voice was beautiful, nobody believed it because Dalila is a very sensual, if you want, even sexual voice. She's inviting Sanson because she knows that's the way she's going to get the secret. And Musetta is not getting any secret, but she's going to have Marcello because she wants to have Marcello. So the job, the work that the singer has to do with the body has to go all the time in concordance with the voice. And now that we have talked about the voice, why don't we start talking about, even though the words are not, let's say, very, very deep, they are very interesting. And the tone, talking more about the series of notes, it starts as quando me vo soleta per la via, la gente sosta e mira. You have to pay do something with your voice so that people understands that it is not me singing quando me vo soleta per la via, but it is Musetta. How do you work that part vocally? How do you make sure that you sound like a Musetta and not like a Mimi? Because I know you can also sing a Mimi's aria, but in this part of Musetta, how do you work that to make sure that your voice sounds? You make it more, you make it even lighter. What are your tricks behind building vocally, Musetta?
I try to make it light, but no, not lack of color, because you need to be charming. You are hypnotizing the people around you, not just the public, but if you are performing the opera, you have to hypnotize your partners too. So I like to stand in the middle of the stage with this self confidence. It has to be charming, it has to be soft. It's sexy but delicate. The score here is telling you with grazia and eleganza, not just funny. She's a singer.
Yeah, and now that you mention, there's too many singers that never read their scores or they just read the notes. But I have also mentioned in the past that Maestro Puccini has these many notes in his scores, and yeah, he says con molto. I mean, it's not grazia, it is molto grazia ed
Es
elegancia.
elegante.
She is not
Yeah,
vulgar. She is not funny.
exactly.
It's grazia, grazia ed eleganza. So that is a challenge. The other one that I noticed is that she has several shakaturas in the in her writing, in her notes, and my thoughts are that they are especially put there to call the attention to a given syllable because it's quando men vo, the first part, but when she repeats quando men vo soletta per la via la gente, again, that's the same effect. And even though the first part is cuando me vo, very plain because it's almost in the same notes, not many changes. The second time, now that she says cuando me vo soleta per la via la gente sostenía, now there are several changes, not only in the height of the notes, there is the shakatura, there are ligaturas, and the whole composition is not as monotonous as the first phrase. Again, going back to the example of singers who are starting their career, and the teacher says, you go for Quando Menvo. And they look at the score and say, Madame, but I have to go to the, re, mi, shakatura, descend, again, short note. And they, when one starts singing, all you see is trouble. I mean, there are way too many things happening. Yeah, and we are just opening the aria.
Yes, and here in the one, two, three, fourth bar starts playing with the dynamics to quasi read a tempo, quasi read a tempo. It obligates you to play with this element with the time to keep the attention on you. This moves a lot to the music.
Yeah, many people sometimes don't pay attention or enough attention to the music. No, sometimes not even the singer pays attention to the music that comes with him. But yeah, the effect of the first part, sostenida, it's also, if you notice, Maestro Puccini, even for the last syllable, doesn't say mira. It is not mira. Mira, that tends to disappear in volume, which again makes life of a beginner singer more complicated because they can say, teacher, I can barely deal with the la, and you now want me to do an effect. So, and this is very particular of Puccini. I'm afraid that Liu is not part of this cycle. Unfortunately, because I personally I love Liu's arias very much, but it is in a way similar to what happens with Musetta. One looks at the score or listens to the piece itself, and you say, it's very simple. You look at the score carefully, and you say, no, it's anything but simple. Dynamics, the use of the notes, how you're conveying, how you're diminishing or increasing the volume, and there are way too many tricks. But let's go for the second phrase. So she has told us, yeah, yeah, when I'm walking on the street, everybody stops and looks at me. So how's the rock start opens, right? And this, and then the second phrase, e la bellezza mia, tutta ricerca in me da capo a pie. So, of course, Musetta is anything but modest. So she's, and my beauty. Tutta ricerca in me, because they know that I am all but beauty. I am a charming girl.
Everything is beautiful in me.
Exactly. A very ricerca in me da capo a pie. From my finger toe to my top, I am perfect. That's what she says. And there is something that I know it's easy for you because of your tesitura. I mean, the only high note that she has is after "Tota ricerca in me" when she says "me," and then again for a beginner singer or for a lyrical soprano, there are like many things happening in me. For you, I know it's not a challenge, but how do you advise a singer, maybe a concert singer, maybe 2 years of study, and his or her, yeah, her teacher has told her, yeah, you go for Musetta, you will be presenting Musetta along with the rest of your group, and she says, my God, what I'm going to do here, above G, my voice is insecure, and I have to touch it very briefly and do this quick change with the me, with the syllable me. How do you suggest singers to approach to this particular syllable part in the score?
Well, if you are reading your score, you can see how the ligadura is moving. So it would be convenient to feel your voice floating as the line of the ligadura. Breathe. If you're floating, you will be closer to this beat, so it would make it a little bit easier for you. If you don't feel that light, at least that day. But it would help. If you are moving up, the B will be closer, so it will not mean an extra effort for your voice.
Because what many times happens is that when a singer feels she will not be able to sing the B and then immediately descend and then do the ornament and keep it at F, they say, no, there are way too many notes. I am just going to sing the B and go straight ahead for ricerca y me da capo al pie. At least that's what many tenors do, but that will be a different episode on a different piece. But there are sopranos that also do it. That they say, no, no, more than one note here. I'm going to do just the one that everybody wants to listen, resolve in a mysterious way where nobody understands what I'm singing. The other sounds coming, and jump to ricerca y me da capo a pie. So, because I remember that there was an advice, and there are some singers who suggest that this has to happen very quickly. They suggest to practice it slowly, because if you are able to hit it slowly, then you can start increasing the speed until you reach the actual speed that is required when singing it in the right tempo. Do you agree with that suggestion, or how do you feel about that suggestion of some singers?
Yes, I try to study slow something that I feel that I need to understand clearly, that I need to be precise. I would study with my air. I know that I emphasize this a lot, but because it is essential for me. For example, I do this exercise with my underlip and my feet, my opposite. So if my ear knows where it's the place of this note, I can sing it easier. I will make it slow to be sure of where do I feel my sound, and then of course I will increase the speed. And it's done.
Of course, easier said than done, of course. Remember that if you're a singer and you feel like you need further advice or preparation, you can still always book an hour of a teaching of a singing lesson with Katia. That you can find it in the shop in our Ko-fi. The link is in the description of the episodes. Because in the episodes we are providing general comments and advice. Of course, we are not expecting you to come ready to sing Musetta after a 30 minutes episode. Of course, that it's not going to happen. If you are working on this area and you want guidance, you go to our Ko-fi, go to the shop and book for an hour of this singing lesson with Katia, where she will walk through these exercises. But let's keep on moving because we still have some content of the La Coquette Musetta. Now, sottolineando, ritenendo, ed assaporo allora la bramosia sotil che dall'occhi traspira. E dai palessi vezzi intendersa alle occulte beltà. In fact, I have to confess that this is the part that I like the most. When she comes from this phrase and says, alle occulte beltà. Così l'effluvio del desio. Personally, that's the part that I like more. Because I think that the previous phrase prepares very well. Alle occulte beltà, così l'effluvio del desio. That così l'effluvio del desio, because it is also when Marcello says, oh my God, I cannot resist this woman any longer. I need to jump to her. She's really having a hard time resisting to the enchantments of Musetta. And she also says, tutta magira, felice mi fa, e tu che sai, again, going in a similar construction, e tu che sai, che mori e ti struggi, da me tonto rifugi. This part I like the most. How do you feel about that part, Katia?
It is a beautiful part because in this moment, Musetta notices that she played very well her cards, and Marcello fell in the trap.
Yeah,
Because she starts singing about everybody wants me, everybody stops and stares at me, and now she is saying, well, now I got your attention. And you remember many things that the rest of the people doesn't know, doesn't see, but you already know. And you're remembering them, and you're refusing, but you're about to fall in the trap. It's just a question of time.
Yeah, you said it. She played her cards very well. She has him. She has Marcello. You know, and even though Marcello and the others say, "E la gente che dirà." Marcello di la Shantararan. The other voices are working on their melodies, but Musetta has already won, and to prove her point, goes to the final part, which, in a way, again, a complete nightmare if you're working on it for your first time or if your voice is not mature yet. Because when she is reaching the final parts and when she says, le angosce tuo non le vuoi dir? Non le vuoi dir? So Ben goes for a B again and again, a number of notes. Changes in the syllables, senti morir again in the air, senti morir, and the wrapping of the morir also has to be in perfect concordance not only with the tempo but with the style of Musetta. which I want. Sorry if I insist too much, but even though it is short, it appears to be easy. Short, it certainly is. Easy, it certainly is not. Moreover, if your voice is not well developed, and you have to, because in the final part, you have to work basically with a complete octave and still sound homogeneous. So moreover than an octave, in fact. So and still sound homogeneous, and that has to be done fairly fast. So
Yes.
there are many sopranos that say, "Oh my God, what I'm going to do here," and they usually go the easy way out that I explained earlier. They skip some notes, so nobody will notice that I skipped notes. I will get away with the final part just with a beautiful B, and that's it. But that's not the way. Why don't you share with us some thoughts on the final part of this beautiful piece?
Um, well, indeed, I don't know if to take off some notes will make it easier. To me, it makes sense to sing every single note to make all my sound feels like one single thing. Um, so Um, I used to think my lower notes mixed with the highest note of my phrase. So the high is already prepared, and when I reach the highest note, it comes from the lower one. So I think everything in the same place, and I hope it sounds like this. If I take off notes like some sopranos would practice, I couldn't feel this match. It doesn't work for me. If it works for them, well, it's great. But no, I prefer to place every single note in the right place. And then I increase the speed, but it feels like a circle. It feels like a single piece. And then it's a challenge to come from this and staccato. Yes, it's challenging.
Yeah, maybe also as you mentioned, because if you don't do it in staccato, it sounds weird. Timorin. Timorin. It will sound like Mimi, and the vocal image, the vocal representation of Musetta is that of beautiful ornaments, light, high ascending notes, and the way it
She's playing to the last moment.
yeah. And many sopranos also what they like to do is that they keep the B for longer and just wrap it up. They mod it, but they like to keep that B for longer because else they feel like they didn't sing enough. You also have a passion for high long notes. So what do you feel about that?
Well, there is a calderon in this note. Yes, you have to hold it, but not to the exaggeration. It would be like if you are having some fries, some French fries, and you drown them in ketchup. You will not feel the flavor or the texture of your fries anymore. So don't abuse of the resources.
Yeah, that you have it doesn't mean that you have to abuse. Because I remember that there was also another singer who used to say, "Don't sing, don't use all your resources in just one aria, because the next time they hear you, they will think that they have heard already everything from you. So also
Yeah.
be wise in what is going to be that you are going to be showcasing. Is this is an area where you can prove that you have a good fiato, prove your good fiato, maybe show your beautiful pianissimo or how you keep your fortes, but don't show your fortes, your pianissimo, your ligatura, just the caps and everything because it's time. People may find you boring, but it really depends on what your repertoire is. So I think I feel like we have covered this beautiful, sympathetic piece of music. To wrap up today's program, Katia, would you like to share some thoughts or sing another part from this aria?
Yes, I would like to say that try to study and try to approach to this beautiful song with self-confidence but also with respect. There's not easy music. This is a song plenty with challenges. um, Pay attention to every detail in your score. Every notation is there for a reason, and this will give you a plus to your performance.
Very well. Well, thank you. Thanks everybody for having listened to our episode, and we will be meeting very, very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
We're posting more content in our profile in Coffee. You can find us there as Opera We Love Singing, all in one word. So go to Coffee, K as in key, O as in opera, dash, F as in food, and I as in ice. We love to see you there.